It is basically the grease that you brush onto your cake pans before you pour the batter in, and it helps it to release immediately when you take it out of the oven. So long gone are the days of Criscoing and flouring the pan or using a piece of wax paper on the bottom. Well, not wax paper, parchment paper. But this is a great recipe for you to use to grease your cake pans, and if you want to see how I make it, then just keep on watching. Okay, so this is a super simple recipe. To make this, you are going to need flour, Crisco, and vegetable oil. I don't really know the exact amounts. I always eyeball it to get it to the consistency that I want. But for video purposes, I'm going to try to measure everything out for you so you can have the numbers. So I'm going to start with 2 cups of Crisco shortening, or any kind of shortening that you have. And it doesn't have to be exact. And then add 2 cups of vegetable oil. And I have 4 cups of flour in here. I'm just going to add it like a half cup at a time. This is actually a 2/3 cup, but I'm going to add a little bit of flour in here, maybe 1.5 cups of flour. And then I'm going to pulse it to start to get it incorporated. So this is very liquidy right now. So I'm going to start to add more flour. Let's do another about 1.5 cups of flour. And pulse again. This is a bit of a better angle so you can see. So it's still chunky in here and it's still pretty liquidy. So I want to keep adding flour. Another 1.5 cups of flour. So now it's getting a little thicker. I'm going to add another cup, about 1.5 cups. Actually, just add the rest of the flour. It's probably a little more than 4 cups in there right now. It's still a little liquidy for me, so I'm going to get a little bit more flour to add. So I'm going to add another 1.5 cups. So about 6 cups of flour. Scrape down the sides if you don't have a scraper blade, which I keep saying I have them, but I don't love them, so I just prefer to scrape myself. And mix on high for about a minute or so. And there is your pan grease. So here you go. Here is your pan grease, all ready to go to be wiped on your cake pans before you fill them with batter. A couple things about this. I have this lock and lock container. It's just a plastic container. Who doesn't love lock and locks? That I keep this in, and I let it sit out at room temperature, and it usually lasts me about 3 weeks, a recipe like that. I haven't had any issues with it going bad. There's really nothing in there that would spoil. It's just Crisco flour and oil. When I brush it on the cake pans, I use a pastry brush. This I got, I believe, on Amazon. You know, just dip it in there and wipe it around. Make sure that you don't have too thick of a coat on there. So just a nice thin coating of this pan grease. And I also brush it on the flour nail that I stick in the center of every cake to be like a heating core. I will link my video on how I bake my cakes. I just made one on how I make a yellow cake and bake it, so you can see how I brush the pans with this pan grease. So I can't think of anything else. If you have any questions, leave them below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And like always, please like this video if you liked it and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and you want to see more videos like this. And you can follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I have my website. I will link all of that below. So I think that's it for now. I will see you on the next one. Bye.